are back. The NFL pod, week 14 of the season. We appreciate everybody who's been following along all season long. We're getting close to the end here. I mean, week 14, it feels like we had Detroit and Kansas City on that Thursday opening night. That felt like 2 weeks ago. And we're now talking about playoff matches and the whole 9 yards. So as the NFL regular season is kind of coming to a close, and it is sad as that means the fantasy season comes to a close, the playoffs will be absolutely electric. So welcome everybody to the week 14 show. We look to stay red hot, analyzing each game on the entire slate, giving out our best bets, and hoping to win you guys a little bit of money. Now, before I jump into it, I do want to touch on our new Twitter Space live streams that we've been updating. We have some college football talk for one of them so far. We also have some MLB offseason news. Obviously, Juan Soto, big addition to the Yankees. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the offseason plays out as the winter meetings are heating up, I think, down in Nashville. So it's interesting, to maybe check out if you want to hear a little more of our content, a little more raw, and analyzing of in real time. If a news story breaks, we want to try and hop on that space and give you guys some instant reactions. So definitely look out for that over on our Twitter. Our TikTok's been blowing up with a bunch of views on our videos, so we appreciate all the support. I just want to jump right back into it here as, like I said, week 14 of the NFL slate. We'll jump right into the first matchup. Bucks taking on the Falcons down in Atlanta. I know we've all been pretty anti-Arthur Smith pretty much all year. But yeah, Jack, I'll jump right over to you, man. How you reading this one?
Yeah, so this Bucks-Falcons game, least looking forward to it on the slate. There's two reasons for that. One, this is the game I chose, when they met the first time around, Falcons at Bucks. I chose the Bucks to win at home in one of my survivor pools. Knocked me out. Baker, even after Desmond Ritter's 3 turnovers, Baker still decided that he couldn't win himself a football game. I think he threw himself 3 picks. Could be wrong on that one, but couldn't win the football game against the Bucks at home while Bijan Robinson had 1 carry. I don't think that they're going to go on the road to Atlanta and beat them, in Atlanta if Bijan Robinson is going to be playing a full stack here. I do want to shout out Mike Evans. If you guys were listening to the last podcast, we gave him a lot of love. So not hating on him, but this is more of an anti-Baker play here, and I'm going to go with the Falcons at home.
Over to you, Bri. How you reading it? You got the same mindset?
Yeah, I really like the Falcons here when I look at this game. The Bucks, of course, have been banged up on defense. Last week, they had a safety come in and play middle linebacker, and they let Chuba Hubbard rush for 94 yards on him, and that guy should not be rushing for 94 yards in any kind of NFL game. But then again, the last 10 years these teams have played, they're 10-9 against each other, and the Falcons are leading 10-9. So you would think the Bucks even that up and it gets to 10-10. But I also don't trust either of these teams, so I'm just going to simply take Bijan to go over his rushing total. It seems like the smart play here. Even if the Bucks linebackers get back, they're not going to be fully healthy. And Bijan, Arthur Smith has at least seen to kind of give him the ball more as the season's gone on here. So hopefully he gets the ball.
Yeah, I don't hate the play there. I know Jack touched on Mike Evans. We kind of touched on him last pod, so I'll roll with the over receiving yards for Mike Evans. I mean, why not? I mean, he just locked up the 1,000-yard reception or 1,000 receiving yards for, what was it, 10 years in a row. So pretty great accomplishment on his part. And yeah, we gave him a lot of attention, a lot of spotlight. I don't think I've ever taken a Mike Evans prop this year yet. So, and a doable one. I mean, 74.5, I could, they're going to lean on him obviously in this game. I could see him flying over that 74.5 number. So I'll go at Evans on the receiving yards. Let's see if he can get it done. But want to move on here to the next game on the slate. The Lions, 9-3 Lions, travel to the Chicago Bears, Windy City. We're at that point in the year where Chicago weather is crazy, unpredictable. and could possibly be a lot of wins. So with that, kind of in mind, I'll jump over to you, Brian. How are you reading this one?
Yeah, so kind of another schedule stat here. I'm a big schedule stat guy this week for some reason. The Bears are actually 4-1 against the Lions in the last 5 games at Soldier Field, but they haven't beaten the Lions in the month of December since 2012. So
That's a twist. That's a twister.
Those two things kind of cancel each other out here. The Lions seem like they're just the better team, right? They're 9-3, but that defense is just horrendous. The Bears handed them that game. The Bears at home now, they've been playing decent football. The last 4 games pretty much have been close. I don't think they've lost by more than a touchdown in like a month. So I'm going to take the Bears +4. Yeah, I like the 4 number.
Looking for some revenge after choking that one out. But before I give a pick out, Jack, you the same way? You reading it like that, or you think the Lions figured it out last week and they're gonna start rolling again?
Yeah, no, I like the Bears in this one. I'm not going to have a play on the +4 or the money line. I think they're going to play well, and I think they're going to win it. I think they're going to upset the Lions, but watching this Lions team under Dan Campbell, how they finished the season last season, I'm not surprised that that the Bears haven't beaten the Lions in a while in December. The Lions are a very hot team as the season comes to a close. When everybody else is injured and hurting, they're coming out here and they're still biting at kneecaps, as Dan Campbell likes to say. But they're pretty banged up themselves, and the Bears with Justin Fields healthy have looked actually pretty impressive this season. So I'm gonna roll with the Bears here, but my play on this is actually going to be Justin Fields over 195 passing yards.
Yeah, should be able to air it out on a not great Detroit Lions defense. I like the Justin Fields prop there, but I'm actually going to roll with the rushing yards. The guy scrambles for days. The 60.5 might seem kind of high, but I mean, he could so easily scramble for 30 yards on two broken plays. So I see, honestly, like, I would even sprinkle Justin Fields 100 rushing yards. You could probably get great plus money juice on that. It might seem a little high, but I'm just kind of banking on the weather maybe being a little windy or a little rough out in Chicago. And, I know Justin Fields loves to run around, which is why that over or that over under is a little high. So I'll roll the dice and take Justin Fields over on the rushing yard.
It seems like Fields is due for a long scramble too. I know he had a lot his rookie year. He had a couple last year, but yeah, he hasn't really had one yet this year. I know he's been banged up, but yeah, he's due for that like 50-yard touchdown breakaway run.
Yeah, and I mean, he's always doing what, 10 rushes a game. I mean, I don't know how many rush attempts he usually has. I know it's usually not planned rushes. It's usually he's kind of scrambling around and takes off, which he's been very good at doing. So I have no problem rolling the dice on that with the Lions defense, who hasn't been that great. I think Justin Fields kind of is able to have his way running the ball. And so I'll take the over on the 60.5. I do want to jump on over to the Colts, 7-5 Colts, and the 6-6 Bengals, who have found their quarterback for the rest of the year. Jack, how are you reading this one?
Yeah, the Bengals definitely surprised me with the life that they showed against my Jags last week. After losing your franchise quarterback for the season, trotting out Jake Browning and dropping a 30 burger against a pretty good defense. Maybe I'm a little biased, but the Jags defense is pretty solid in my opinion. But he absolutely carved them up as Brian expected, as he told everybody last week on the pod. So I like the juice that the Bengals offense is bringing. And then I love my guy Gardner. He's been keeping this Colts team alive, and more than just alive. If the season ended today, they would be a playoff team. I'm going to take the over in this game, over 43.5. I think both these teams are playing pretty inspired football right now, even though neither of them have their franchise quarterback starting, but both backups are playing competent. And I think that this 43.5, it's going to soar over that.
Yeah, I love the overplay there. I love where your head's at on that one. But Brian, I'll let you have your 30 seconds of fame for, trying to warn everybody that Jake Browning is him.
Yeah, no, I tried to tell you guys this guy is him. The Washington Huskies juju is working, and it's going to continue to work because he's going to go over 230 passing yards again. I love the overplay, Jack. Jake Browning is that guy. He's going to lead the Bengals to, dare I say, the playoffs. That's how good I think this team can be with him under center. But I'm not going to take the Bengals in this game. I'm going to ride the over with you because the Bengals give up the sixth most passing yards in the league. I love what Gardner Minshew is doing in Indianapolis. Alec Pierce has seen him come on. He had 100 yards last week. So I really like this game's going to be a lot of fun. This is a game 2 weeks ago that maybe you thought, hey, just write this off. Probably we look at it in the outline and say gross. But I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And the winner of this game really has a decent shot to make the playoffs, especially if the Colts win. If the Colts win, the Jags might be a little rattled. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, so I think we got to make it a squad ride pick here because I absolutely love the over in this game too. Guys, I think hit the nail on the head. I don't have much to say about it. Bengals defense isn't great. Both quarterbacks have shown to be competent, and there should be a decent amount of points in this one. I just think for anybody who wants a little more juice and maybe they don't want to take the over, which I do think is a great play, which is why we're making it, the squad ride play of the slate. I don't know if we'll have another one, but this is definitely one to lock in because that over is very hittable here. I mean, we could see a 31-28 final score, maybe even the Bengals soar into the 30s again. So they've already shown to do it. Love the over there. If you want a little more juice, take something with Michael Pittman, whether it's over receptions or over yards. I mean, the guy's been balling out the last 4 or 5 weeks. He's been unbelievable. He's pretty much Mr. Consistent. They rely on him so much. I'm sure you can get Michael Pittman. You can rely on him and, bet his props with confidence this weekend. As the Colts will probably be looking to air the ball out. But it'd be really awesome to see a lot of people who take this squad ride and then jump into the space with us. And we can all kind of, talk about the play hitting, especially if it's close. And I think it can make a not so great 1:00 slate super fun. So definitely look out for that. I will jump over to the Jaguars and the Browns. And I don't have much introduction. Jack, I will let you take it away here.
Yeah. Let's make sure we're keeping Trevor Lawrence in our prayers, guys. We need him healthy. Travis Etienne too. He was banged up going into Monday night's game against the Bengals, and now he's questionable going into this game as well. So let's pray for our guys out here. It was a very, very tough, disappointing loss Monday night. We absolutely balled out for the first almost 60 minutes. First 50 minutes we pretty much balled out until Trevor got hurt and offense stalled. The morale was gone, and it was just a tough night. We're just gonna wrap it up there. It was a tough night for the Jags. As we look into this week, it's CJ Beathard at the helm for the Jags up against Joe Flacco for the Browns. So I don't know who's looking forward to this game. The over-under is set at 30.5. I know people are going to be scared to touch that, but I'm going to tell you right now, take the under. Take the under. Joe Flacco, he's going to throw a couple interceptions maybe, but unless we're getting a couple defensive touchdowns, this game is hitting the under for sure.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird one, obviously, with these two quarterbacks. We don't have, obviously, much tape on them. I do know Joe Flacco threw for around 250 yards and 2 TDs last weekend. So at least we kind of saw what he might or might not have, just based on the tape we have on him from last weekend. But, Beathard, we haven't seen at all this year. And I think the last time he got time or playing time was when he was with the Niners. It's still a little bit of an unknown, right? We can make a good educated guess, but it's a little bit of an unknown because we haven't seen it, and these guys haven't been with these offenses all year long. So it's definitely an interesting one. I have no idea how I'm going to read this one, so I do want to jump to you, Brian, and see where your head's at on this game.
Yep. All right, Tank Bigsby, look at me. I know you're watching because you're not on the field. You get like 5 snaps a game. It's time to step up. CJ Beathard is starting at quarterback. Travis Etienne is banged up. You're getting outsnapped by Dearness Johnson. He's been in the league for like 10 years and hasn't scored a touchdown, I don't think. It's time to get in the end zone. You're going to get carries. They need you. They need you, bro. Make up for that loss in the Iron Bowl. That stung even more because we lost this year. So it's time to score a touchdown. I'm betting on you to score a touchdown. Get in the damn end zone.
Yeah, interesting there. What is the Tank Bigsby anytime touchdown play record? It's got to be 0 and something because he hasn't scored a touchdown.
It's 0-2. I think he's seen as many snaps as I've taken him to score a touchdown the last couple of weeks.
He has 1 touchdown on the season.
He does.
Might have been week 1.
Yeah. He got in once.
So I usually try to give a pick for every game, and I'm really struggling to come up with one here. No, I guess a pick. I'll go Jerome Ford anytime touchdown. I think he finds the end zone this week as well. So that's the pick I'll take. But yeah, I like Jerome Ford to get in the end zone. Really would help the fantasy team as well. So maybe a little bias for that pick. But yeah, that's the way I'm rolling. And we'll head out of Cincinnati or roll down to the Bayou, New Orleans. The Saints in the Dome. Did we see a lot of points here? I mean, 37.5 is kind of low for a game that could be a lot of points. You know, Jack, I see you look like you're ready to analyze this game hard here. What do you got?
Yeah, where am I at for this game? I'm not gonna take the Saints -4.5, even though they should beat the Panthers. My play in this one is going to be Olave over 68.5 receiving yards. Olave is a deep threat guy. He always finds himself open. I think he soars over 68.5.
Yeah, for sure. I love the spot there. I think, like I said, he'll be airing the ball out a lot. So I'll take a little bit of a lower yard total. I'll take 31.5 for Kamara. I mean, I could totally see Jameis dumping it off to him a few times, especially I think Jack, you touched on, the Panthers D line is relatively competent with those, big boys down there on the interior line. So yeah, I'll roll the dice with Kamara over 31.5 receiving yards. It's a pretty low number for a guy who gets a decent amount of targets out of the backfield. So feel pretty confident taking that and, seeing him probably soar into the 40s with receiving yards and maybe even higher. But yeah, Brian, what's your read on this one, man?
So I will take the Saints -4.5 here. I think they want to keep pace with the NFC South. But one thing before we move on from this game, well, actually 2 things. So first, Hayden Hurst got a concussion a couple weeks ago. It just came out. He suffered post-traumatic amnesia. Forgot what happened up to 4 hours after the game. The wild part, he's questionable this week. He might play. The dude,
no way. No way. No way they're rolling him out there.
He was on the practice field yesterday after having one of the worst concussions in recent NFL history.
That's wild. Dude, I thought they have to be in like a 7 to 10 to 14-day protocol when it's this bad.
Yeah, so it was 2 weeks ago, and I guess he didn't report it right away, and his dad took to Twitter to be like, yeah, Hayden suffered post-traumatic amnesia and couldn't remember anything after the game.
Wild.
The other thing I have about this game, I guess, Matt, you would have the best read on this. I mentioned Chuba Hubbard earlier. What the fuck happened to Miles Sanders?
There's a reason why the Eagles didn't resign him. I mean, he obviously looked better with the Eagles O-line because the Eagles have one of the top in, all of football. But I was always on, and again, there's nothing against the guy. He was, great guy, fan of the city, local-ish, went to Penn State, the whole 9 yards. So, Philly loved him, didn't hate the guy. It's just, Howie Roseman doesn't allocate money to running backs, and they're not going to pay Miles Sanders $8 to $10 million a year to be the running back when they can go with different options. So
yeah, when I saw his line at 26.5 this week, I laughed pretty hard because that's just Hubbard is not a very good. You said Sanders is mediocre. I feel like Hubbard's a mediocre running back, and
Yeah, I
Sanders
mean,
lost his job to him.
it's what he is, and it's coming more to light now that that he's on a way less talented team.
We are 13 weeks in at this point. Miles Sanders is not, a rookie running back. This is what Chuba's third year in the league. Last year, I think he had a little bit more of the spotlight, splitting time with Deonta Foreman after McCaffrey got traded to the Niners, but never really been the spotlight guy. He's relatively fresh, especially throughout his career, and then especially this season with Miles Sanders starting the season as the main workhorse. So it might just be a Miles Sanders is getting a little wear and tear, and Chuba's got the fresh legs. I wouldn't be surprised if it's as simple as that, because at the end of the day, I think you guys are both right.
And it's what it is. But let's jump over to JetLife Stadium, where the Houston Texans travel to North Jersey to take on the New York Jets. And I will say, I got a call from our friend, AY, friend of the pod. He's got an extra ticket. I will be in attendance at JetLife this Sunday to watch my guy, CJ Stroud, live in action. I can't wait. AY already told me I'm not allowed to wear the Texans gear, but look out for some great content come Sunday, because I am going to be roaring to go. You guys all know CJ Stroud is my guy. So yeah, obviously big thanks to AY extending out the extra ticket. I know they're pretty sweet tickets. And the Eagles don't play till 8:00. So, and this is a 1:00 game. So I'll be able to get up there, have a good time, big, tailgate, watch CJ Stroud play. Good atmosphere should be. You get to see Zach Wilson come back. Yeah, cool. I guess that's whatever. But dude, I am pumped to watch CJ Stroud live in action. With some pretty solid seats to go along with it. But Jack, I'll jump over to you, man. How are you reading this one?
Wow, man. Lucky you. You get to go see CJ Stroud in his rookie year. That's pretty exciting stuff, man. Pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, Mike.
So last week, who was it? Desmond Ridder and the Falcons went into JetLife and handed the Jets an L. And handed the Jets and Tim Boyle an L. This week it's Zach Wilson. So I think Jet fans are probably feeling a little bit more optimistic about this, but it's not the Falcons and Desmond Ridder. It's the Texans and CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud has been balling. I don't need to go into depth about how good he's been in his rookie season. I said last week that there's no way Desmond Ridder goes in JetLife and beats the Jets. So I actually took the Jets on the money line. That was wrong. This week, there is no way that CJ Stroud doesn't go into JetLife and beat the Jets. Desmond Ridder can do it. I know CJ Stroud can do it. Give me the Texans on the road here, -6.
Damn right, dude. Couldn't have said it any better myself. And I was with you last week. I had the Jets +2. CJ Stroud's biggest fan will be in attendance, cheering him on. I noticed his passing yards is 215.5. I'll be in attendance. I am hammering the over on that. Dude, this guy's like consistently nearing 300 every week. I get it. The Jets defense is good. I don't know what the weather's going to be like on Sunday. I think it should be relatively clear, maybe a little chilly, but as long as it's clear and there's no crazy wind, the cold, these guys are NFL guys. The cold doesn't affect them that much. So yeah, 215.5 for CJ Stroud's passing yards. Give me the over for that. And I'm just, like I said, so pumped to watch CJ Stroud in person, live action, with some pretty sweet seats. So definitely look out for the 1:00 slate. I'll try to have a bunch of content for you guys. Who knows? Maybe I use the mustache and I throw on a vest and I'm right down there on the field taking a picture with CJ Stroud. We'll see what happens. Brian, want to get your read on this game. What do you got?
Yeah, no, you mentioned CJ Stroud, 215.5. I think that line's a joke. I know the Jets defense is good, but 215.5 is such a low number. That's like a Tommy DeVito number. So, yeah, CJ Stroud's going to soar over that. Unfortunately, Tank Dell out for the season, so that's going to hurt him a little bit. That probably went into that thinking a little bit with that number, but he's still got Nico Collins there. Still has Noah Brown, who for some reason is getting 100 yards a week when he's healthy. The crazy thing here with the spread, at least, so it opened at 3.5. Robert Saleh then announced Zach Wilson would be returning, and the odds makers pushed the thing to 6. I don't know if the odds makers did it or all the money just came in on the Texans, but that's a field goal difference. And you would feel like Zach Wilson at least gives the Jets a better shot than Tim Boyle, but I guess not. So, yeah, I'm going to stay away from the spread, but I do like CJ Stroud's over. And yeah, the Texans win this game. They're right on pace with the Jaguars. And if the Jets lose, I think any chance Aaron Rodgers coming back is gone. So, yeah, Texans win this one.
Yeah, I think it's already pretty much done and dusted with Rodgers. He's not coming back this year, and I think that's better for if you're Jet fans. Like you don't want him to come back. I mean, I get it; he's like recovering at a rapid rate, but the Achilles is nothing to play around with. Let him sit out and get his rest and come back like really, truly 100% healthy next year. But yeah, I guess last game of the 1 o'clock slate here, the Red Hot Rams traveling all the way across the country to take on the Baltimore Ravens. You guys know how I feel about teams traveling across the country for the 1 o'clock spot, especially when they're West Coast teams. I think the 7.5 is a pretty big number for the Ravens to cover, but we could also see this could be like a 33-20 Ravens win. Brian, how are you reading this one, man?
Yeah, like you said, the Rams have been hot, but the Ravens, at least in my opinion, are the best team in the AFC. You know, this defense is for real, and the Rams offense, as good as it's looked, going across the country, Puka's banged up, Tyler Higbee's banged up. Cooper Kupp just doesn't look the same right now. I don't know if his hamstring's still bothering him or it's just the emergence of Puka, but those two factors. Kyron Williams is a dog. Jack talked about him last week, and then he went ahead and backed up Jack's talk. But the Ravens defense combined with this new explosive offense that they have, I think the Ravens blow them out here. 7.5 is a big number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Keaton Mitchell over 44.5 rushing yards and the Ravens minus 6.5.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't hate it there. Like I kind of touched on, we could see a big Ravens win here. But Jack, how you reading this one?
Yeah, the Ravens have been really good at home. They've been good at home against good teams too. With a couple blowouts in there. If you looked at my power rankings, they say exactly what Brian said. The Ravens are the #1 team in the AFC right now. They got a nice little boost from the Jags and the Chiefs losing last week. But they're fighting for first place with first place, for the bye with Miami. So I think that they're going to be very motivated to win this game. I think they're going to get it done. And my play in this one is not going to be the 7.5. I mean, you could throw them in a parlay or something. But my play in this one is going to be Zay Flowers go over on his receiving yards, 46.5.
Should be a pretty easy number for him to hit, right? I mean, that's like I see him totally having 70 yards there. So I think that's pretty low. I think he hits that. And the Ravens are rallying around Mark Andrews right now. I mean, that's a guy who really, really that injury hit him hard because he loves this team and really wants to win. And he's just a guy who is so dedicated and cares about the performance of the team. So him going down, you could see it on his face, and he's very emotional, about the injury. So I just think the Ravens are playing for him and playing behind him. Jack, I love your Zay Flowers pick. I definitely would sprinkle on that for Zay Flowers. But I talked about a blowout, and I'm not going to talk about it and not take it. Give me the Ravens minus 9.5 here. I think they win by 10 plus. I think they win by 10 plus. It's some plus money juice. The Rams are traveling all the way across the country to play a 1 o'clock game against arguably one of the best defenses in football and, arguably one of the best offenses as long as Lamar's healthy. So I'm looking at a blowout here. Look, the Lions went there, got blown out, and that's another good team. And I think the Lions are probably better than the Rams. So the Rams coming across country. Give me the Ravens -9.5. I see a double-digit win here. Would not be surprised if we see like a massacre, like a 33 or 38 to 14. And that's just the way I'm reading this game. So I see -9.5. I like the pick at plus money, and can totally see double digits win here for the Ravens. But that kind of wraps it up for the 1 o'clock slate. I do want to jump now into the 4 o'clocks. Kind of a shit show of a game here. Vikings and the Raiders. Brian, how you reading this, man?
Well, I kind of regret you going to me first here because this game is tough to read.
That's why I did it.
But, oh boy. So the Vikings have a 44% chance to make the postseason. Obviously, that number will drop significantly if they lose. It'll probably be around 50-50 if they win. Return of Justin Jefferson, good for my fantasy team. Hopefully good for the Vikings in their case. The Raiders are out of playoff contention, but, Antonio Pierce still isn't playing hard. Even that game against the Chiefs where they lost by 2 touchdowns, they were winning for most of the first half. So, yeah, even the player prop route, like the Vikings have a good run defense, so they can't go with Josh Jacobs. I'm going to go the under just because.
Take the under 40.5 and go to bed, right? That's what that pick sounds like. Jack, you leaning the same way here, man, or you got something else?
Yeah, I really don't hate that play. I wasn't gonna touch that, but I do like the under 40.5. It's not gonna be my play. It'll be like my normal play, but what I like in this game is if you can find some sack props, take the overs on all of them. This Vikings team blitzes more than anybody, and they get home. They've got a ton of sacks on the season. Might be leading the league, might not be. You have to check me on that. And then on the Raiders side, you got Max Crosby, whose motor is second to none in the league. He's always in the backfield. He's going to have 1 or 2, maybe 3 on Josh Dobbs. So if you can find some sack props, take them. Just take them. Brian, at 5-7, I don't think the Raiders are actually out of the playoff race yet.
But they're the Raiders.
I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't expect them to make the playoffs, but they are playing motivated, and I don't think that that's going to stop here this week. I think they're definitely going to show some fight, and the Vikings are an exploitable team. So even with Justin Jefferson coming back, this offense is still, not anything special. And, with Josh Dobbs, it's not anything special. And then their defense, although it is, they bring a lot of pressure. They try to make you make a lot of mistakes. They're very exploitable and give up some big plays. So I think there's a shot that the Raiders win this game, and then they're 6-7 and 1 game back in the wild card.
Yeah, I still don't know how to read this game. Both these teams are so unpredictable. I like where you guys' heads are at, right? Like it's in Vegas. And the Raiders are playing motivated, like you touched on, Jack. They're not entirely out of it. So a little bit motivated with Antonio Pierce. Done a pretty solid job for his first head coaching stint. So congrats to him on finding a way to turn it around. But yeah, I will Raiders +3 here. Is that a weird play? I don't know. I'll buy the hook so I don't get a push. But I'll take the +3.5 there, and we can move on. Let's jump over to a pretty solid game, even though the spread is double digits. Seattle Seahawks, who looked very competent against the Dallas Cowboys last time out, travel to San Francisco. Santa Clara. San Jose for Levi Stadium to take on the 49ers. How are you reading this one? +10.5 and a big divisional matchup. And the Niners in a letdown spot. I mean, they had to been, puffing their chests out all week. A little bit of a letdown spot. So, Jack, how you reading this one, out in San Jose?
Yeah. I mean, the Niners beat the Seahawks in Seattle by almost 20 points the last time these guys met. I don't know if I really want to take anything in this. I mean, 10.5 points for me is a lot.
A
Uh,
lot.
it's a lot of points. It's a divisional game, too, which makes it even worse. There's a big shot that the 49ers come out here in a letdown spot, which is why I'm kind of debating taking Seattle plus 10.5 here. But no, my play in this one will be DK Metcalf on the receiving yards. He's just a big boy. He's a dog. And the 49ers, they're susceptible, at the cornerback position. So I think DK Metcalf can, jaw around a little bit with some of these 49ers cornerbacks, get the better of them on one or two of these balls and get over on his receiving yards.
For sure, dude. DK's been relatively pretty consistent all year long for the Seahawks offense. So like where your head's at there. But Brian, I will jump over to you. I mean, 10.5 is a lot of points, is it not?
It is a lot of points. It's a real shame the 49ers don't play in Candlestick Park anymore because you would have had Candle Prick Park right in front of you.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, Jack mentioned the Thanksgiving beatdown. The Seahawks defense didn't look much better against the Cowboys. I know their offense looked good, but the defense just was really bad. So 10.5 is a big number, but I really think they cover it. The 49ers have the MVP favorite in Brock Purdy. I don't know if you agree with that, but kind
I
of shows
don't
you.
I mean, I'm not gonna go on a whole rant. Just keep going.
Yeah. So yeah, Purdy MVP favorite. Of course, Christian McCaffrey. You have all those weapons over there, and I just think Seattle's defense is just atrocious. So
It's not great.
49ers win this one 41-15 because the Seahawks go for two and a pity. Let's try to catch up. So that's my play here.
So Niners cover the 10.5, big double digit or 20 plus point win for you there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I have no read on this, right? I like your pick, Jack, with Metcalf. I think he's been pretty consistent. The Seahawks are probably going to have to air the ball out a bit here. So Geno Smith over passing yards?
Oh God, that one
That's
hurt.
interesting.
That one did hurt.
I can't. I'm still sick of the 49 or 40 whiners, I should say. I'm sick and tired. I can't pick anything with it, and let's get weird with it, man. Geno Smith is a competent quarterback who can air the ball out. I'll roll the dice. The Seahawks are going to probably be passing the ball a lot here, especially with what I think Walker's questionable, and that other running back.
Max Charbonnet.
I do not want to try to butcher that last name. But yeah, give me Geno Smith to air the rock out a little bit, and soar over the passing yards. Let's see him get it done. Pretty sure he did it in Dallas on the road. So let's see if he can do it on the road here against the Whiners. We'll roll into another big one. This is up there with game of the slate. No, Buffalo traveling to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Brian, Jack, you're with a confident shaking of the yes. Brian, not so much in agreeing with it's this one of the games best games of the slate. What are you thinking, man? How are you reading it?
I mean, I guess, but both these teams are just not the teams that they've been the last 2 years. Buffalo have been struggling all season, and Kansas City, they can't throw the ball, and that's crazy to say with a guy like Patrick Mahomes. But besides Rashee Rice, and even Travis Kelce has disappeared at times. I don't know if he's too love struck to run routes correctly, but yeah. With that being said, I'm taking the over. These last 4 games they've played, I believe, they have soared over the total. It's 48.5 today. The last 4 games they've been in the 60s averaging. So even though these two teams kind of suck right now, I still believe that they're both going to get up for this game, and we'll see this game go over.
This is going to be. I think this is in the making of a little bit of a crazy game here, just because of the two quarterbacks, regardless of rosters. Jack, where's your read on this, dude? You look like you got some juice for this one, dude. I mean, are you? I'm a little excited for this game.
Oh, dude, I'm loving this game. Are you kidding me? I mean, maybe there's like a little bit of bias in me because of the last time these guys played, but I mean, every Buffalo and KC matchup that I've watched with Mahomes and Josh Allen, I mean, it's just been shootouts. It's been electric, extremely fun games to watch. I know both of these teams are somewhat struggling this year compared to, what we've been expecting out of them in years past, but this is a game for both of them to get the juices going. Everyone's feeling all good, pumped up. This is gonna be like a playoff game for them. This might be the game that both of these teams need to get out of their ruts and really find their stride as we go. Wrap up the regular season. So I'm really excited for this game. I think you should be really excited for this game. Brian, stop acting like you're not excited for this game. I know you're excited for this game. And
You
one of the
got it.
reasons why I'm excited for this game is, this is this is a moneymaker game where you take any over you want. I'm telling you, it's hitting. Take them all. My plays in this one are going to be Josh Allen over 33 and a half rushing yards. I like that. And I also like Diggs to go over 74 and a half. I know what's his name? Jerry Sneed's been playing some cornerback coverage over there for KC, but Stephon Diggs is that guy, and Josh Allen's going to need him to put up some points against KC. So give me Diggs over 74 and a half receiving yards. Give me Josh Allen over 33 and a half rushing yards. And what's Mahomes' line? 270 and a half. I'll take 270 and a half. Give me Mahomes over 270 and a half as well.
At home too. I mean, Mahomes should be able to sling the rock around a little bit. But dude, I agree with you. I got a lot of juice for this one. I love Gabe Davis over his receiving, Stephon Diggs over his receiving, Stephon Diggs over his catches, receptions. If I didn't give out so much, I would lean Mahomes as well, but I gave you guys a lot of juice right there. I'm very confident in those plays. I love Gabe Davis 36 and a half, the over there. I think that has a real shot of hitting along with the other ones I just gave out. We're due for a big Stephon Diggs week. I mean, come on, let's get back on the Stephon Diggs over train here. His line at points in the season were in the 80s. We're seeing now it's down 74 and a half. We're due for a Stephon Diggs week. Like I said, I just gave you guys all that juice. And I'm really confident in those picks. Pumped up for that one.
Yeah, we love the over.
Yeah. So now we roll into one that's kind of not so great. Denver going to LA to take on the Chargers, who won 6-0 against the Patriots last weekend. I know there was some weather going on up there, but I mean, come on, man, 6-0. Like the Chargers just continue to show why they're not glued together chemistry team, and why Brandon Staley needs to be relieved of his duties. I mean, that guy still has a job for whatever reason. The Chargers have just been so mid, just so bland for his whole tenure. Mm-hmm. Like usually guys will only have 2 years to do this. We probably see it at the end of this year. No, I mean, I think we have to, but
it's gotta be.
Yeah, it's got to be. But Jack, I want to jump over to you, man, and see where you're kind of reading this one, and what kind of picks you got as the Chargers offense gets back to some better weather.
Yeah. So I don't have faith in either of these teams. Never been a fan of Russell Wilson or Sean Payton, so the Broncos aren't getting my bid. And then for the LA Chargers, I mean, come on, we've been saying it all year. They have the roster to do it. They don't do it. It's Staley's fault. Somebody's got to figure it out over there, and it can't just be Herbert figure it the fuck run around, figure it the fuck out. I know you're playing with 15 injuries at any given time, but Yeah, I don't have faith in either of these teams. Yeah, I'm taking the under on this game, under 44.5 for sure.
Brian, dude, what do you got here?
Yeah, I hate this game. Both these teams give me brain aneurysms. I'm going to take Adam Troutman to catch 2 passes.
That's gross.
Interesting.
The
Is
Chargers don't cover tight ends very well, and it seems like he's the only guy over there. I guess I do have Greg Dulcich, but yeah, Adam Troutman's catching 2 passes.
Okay, well, maybe that guy can pull through for you. I kind of want to take Denver +3 just because I have no faith in the Chargers whatsoever, and they don't really have a home field advantage like at all. Honestly, it's relatively close to Denver. Not like that far. I think we probably see a lot of orange in the stands, which obviously hurts the home team. So I'll buy a half point and take. Well, I guess I'll buy a full point and get the +3.5 because I don't do the pushes. But I'll roll. I'll take a stab on Denver. I think they've been kind of hot lately and seem to have figured it out to some extent. And it's more I just can't trust the Chargers. And I've seen enough to where I'm not putting any faith in Brandon Staley. So give me the Broncos +3.5. I'll buy the full point. Still can probably get pretty solid odds on that. And I'll roll the dice, take a stab with the Broncos because they've looked competent to say the least, experienced quarterback, and Brandon Staley is just not that guy. That kind of wraps it up for that one out in LA. Now we jump to the big one, the 8:20 Sunday night, probably the game of the week. I know we said that other one had potential, but this one probably is. Eagles traveling to Dallas to take on the Cowboys, where I think the Cowboys are on a 14, 15 game win streak, something crazy like that. The Eagles haven't swept Dallas since 2011, and we haven't won in Dallas since 2017. So it's a lot going against the Eagles here. There's a reason they're not favored after, embarrassing loss last weekend, and those stats I kind of just laid out. Dallas on the big win streak, and the Eagles, haven't won there since 2017. So obviously a struggle there, but they're my birds, and I got to ride with them because what do? We control our own destiny. So I'll take the birds plus the points. I think what's it +3?
Plus
I'll
three and a
take
half.
a. I'll take the +3.5. It's the birds. Why not? I think they got a shot to get this one done. Wouldn't be surprised if they lose. But yeah, I'm confident they can go out there and look way more competent than they did last week. But the real thing I want to see is them destroy Dak Prescott because I'm sick and tired of seeing him get ran around in all this MVP talk, and I don't want to hear any of it. The guy's a fraud. They beat up on bad teams. You got a good team coming in there. Let's show the NFL the true fraud Dak Prescott is, and let's launch him out of those MVP conversations. So that's what I got for this one. I'll roll the birds +3.5. I'll even, sprinkle the money line. Why not? Because they're the birds. But that's what I got for that one. Let's beat the shit out of Dak Prescott. Jack, what do you got, dude?
Yeah, I'm one of those people that's looking around this league and saying, "Damn, Dak is playing at an MVP level." Is it going to go to him? We'll see. We got to see how he does in his finishing gauntlet of games here. And it's next game's up against the Eagles right here. Last time they played earlier in the season, he threw for almost 375 yards against them, 3 touchdowns. So my play in this one is going to be Dak on the over for his over on yards. They're going to have to air it out. Dallas's run game has not been as efficient in years past. I know they still have a great offensive line, but going up against a good defensive line, probably not going to get the big holes. They're going to have to air it out. So
Yeah, good stuff there. Look, if the Eagles don't get it done, Dak Prescott's probably going to have a big day. So, you got an angle there, but I really hope we kick the shit out of them at home or on the road in Dallas. But Brian, I dare you, man. Do it. Take the anti-Eagles parlay.
I like.
Brian, you have to.
I hate Dallas. I can't. I don't like it, but I'll do it. Okay. Shout out Wiz Khalifa. Hold up. We them boys. Hold up, hold up. Dak's making noise. Hold up. CeeDee Lamb touchdown. Hold up. Tony Pollard scoring a touchdown too. Dak Prescott throwing for 300.
Hold
Cowboys
up.
gonna win the game.
Hold up.
I think that's enough. We them boys.
We them boys.
that might have been the worst one yet.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was my first and only time doing ad libs. I think I'm done for the rest of my life.
Dude, I love how like you're like, yeah, like I don't really have one, like I'm not gonna do one. And you have like a choreographed, planned out song. Like, yeah, give me Wiz Khalifa. We'll go this song. Yeah, I don't really have an anti-Eagles parlay at all, actually.
I struggled to get through that one, but yeah, I think I took Dak 300, Tony Pollard anytime touchdown, CD anytime touchdown, and Cowboys money line. That seems pretty doable.
Yeah,
So
very doable.
let's get our first anti-Birds parlay win of the year.
Look, man, good luck. Every time you're on them, Eagles seem to find a way to bust it up. So I'll take that as a good luck sign. But let's roll into Monday night as all the major sports commissioners have been faded with scheduling this year. You know, you got the NBA in-season tournament effing up the whole schedule. You know, now we have a doubleheader on Monday night starting at the same time, and both the games suck.
Hey
What
now.
is going on? I mean, look, Titans travel to Miami to take on the Dolphins, and in the other one, Packers travel to JetLife Stadium as JetLife gets a double header this weekend with both North Jersey pro football teams playing up there. But yeah, I mean, Titans traveling to Miami, which I do want to say, Brian, I know you got called out for it. You asked like who the favorite out of the AFC was, and you left the Dolphins off the Twitter poll. So
Yeah.
we want an explanation of why the Dolphins were left off.
Well, they're frauds. That's why. They can't beat a good team, and until they beat a good team, which they don't have the opportunity to do this week, I'm gonna leave them out. Before we get into this, I know you'll be happy to hear this, Matt. Jack, I don't know if you'll be happy to hear this. There has been a touchdown scored in Thursday Night Football, and it was Ezekiel Elliott receiving.
Let's fucking go, dude.
But
Huge.
yeah.
Huge.
Back to this game that I will not be watching because of the next game that we'll be getting into. Titans have not won a game on the road. The Dolphins are undefeated at home. The Titans are a joke. The Dolphins beat up on bad teams. The Dolphins are going to cover the 13.
It is a big spread. It is a big spread. Jack, are you entertaining that, or are you going a completely different route?
I mean, he took the words right out of my mouth. Top to bottom, the Dolphins they're going to cover these 13 points. They beat up on bad teams. Titans are a bad team. It's really as simple as that.
I love it. Let's make it another squad ride because it's Monday night. I'll take the minus 13 as well. I know I don't love double-digit spreads, especially on a Monday night game, but I'll roll the dice with you guys. Minus 13. It'll be a squad ride, so look out for that Monday. We'll definitely, post something on Twitter, maybe Instagram, and maybe do a Twitter space. We'd love to have a bunch of people who ride the squad ride with us, and we can all have some good fun there. But in terms of the other games, so like I said, we have two games. Which game gets Joe Buck and Troy Aikman?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
The one I'm not watching.
They should send Peyton and Eli to do the game in.
Yeah, why don't they do one?
They really should.
Why don't they have Eli do the Giants game?
They probably don't want to get out of the house for it.
That's also
I don't blame
true.
them, but
yeah, I don't blame them.
Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are doing the Giants game, and it's Chris Fowler and Louis Riddick and Dan Orlovsky for the Miami game.
Right, you have Green Bay pretty big market just because of their fan base, and what they've been over the last decade or so. And then obviously New York, monster market. So kind of makes sense to send Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, to JetLife Stadium.
Oh God, wait. Someone's getting injured in this game.
Why?
It's the second game there in 2 days. The field's already a mess. It always happens in prime time. Oh God.
Brian over a half for a major injury to occur. There's Brian, typical New York asshole,
Fucking pessimist.
rooting for injuries.
That's not my pick. I'm just saying that's probably gonna happen.
You said it, man. You
The
said it,
nerve.
so you were thinking it. You said
The
it, so you were thinking it.
God.
Rooting for the big injury. My Atlanta. Yeah. What are some picks here for? I mean, dude, Jack. How are you feeling here, dude?
No, I'd like to hear Brian's thoughts on this first, as the resident Giant fan of Section 400. Give it to us, Hal.
Yeah, the Packers have the third worst run defense in the league. The one thing the Giants can do with Saquon Barkley, they drafted him second overall to run the ball. They're going to run the ball well in this game, and they're going to beat the Packers at home. So my pick is Saquon to score, Saquon to rush for 80 yards, and the Giants to win. And hopefully
I'll leave it up to you, Jack, because I just have to digest that for a second. But
I think it's going to be a little flip flop there. I think the Packers are going to win this one on the road, but I will take the under. I think this is going to clear the under 36.5. Maybe by a hair. I might be sweating it a little bit. I know Tommy cold cuts can give me a little scare at times, but I'm going to go under 36.5 as my official play here. And let's see where the line ends up. But at -6 right now, I might take the Packers at -5.5.
don't hate that there. I mean, we can see the Packers beat the brakes off the Giants on Monday night, realistically. I think the Giant fans are gonna fall back into that delusional trap of thinking that they have something with the veto and they're competent and this, that, and the third and all, the whole 9 yards. And the Packers come in and absolutely take a shit on it. So I'll roll with the Packers to win by a touchdown. I'll take Jordan. I'll take Jordan Love's over passing yards. I'll rock it with you, Jack, 5.5, so we don't have the push. But I think that's everybody's picks for the week. But that wraps up the show. It was a long one, but it was a good one. Make sure you look out for the Twitter spaces that pop up as the weekend goes along, and maybe even on Monday night. And look out for some breaking news TikToks with instant reaction on major sporting news. We obviously have the NFL heating up, Heisman's coming up, college bowl games and playoffs coming up. College basketball is heating up. And we have the MLB offseason, which obviously is off to a red hot start. Soto going across the country to the Bronx, not Flushing, to the Bronx. So a lot to digest there. So look out for all the content that's upcoming. And as always, my name's Matt, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.
All I want for Christmas is Yamamoto, Steve.
I just want a Super Bowl win. Go Jags.